Hello and welcome to the Here For It podcast with Chris and Melissa. We're two sisters that are here to bring you real and relatable topics that we hope will encourage and inspire you, cause you to think, laugh, and grow. Thank you for being a part of this journey. And if you like something you hear, please remember to share it. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's topic.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Starting over. Okay.
You got your Andrew Caldwell voice.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Here For It podcast with
Chris
and Melissa. Today, babies, we got some good stuff to talk about. Our topic today is...
Y'all saw the title.
Yes.
I know you're here because you want the tea.
Yes.
So let's just give them 3 seconds. Go ahead, get your cup. Because we about to pour, okay?
Pour. Why did they go to jail?
Oh,
You
my
going
goodness.
to jail now.
It's crazy.
It's so funny that we have this topic going on right now because some stuff had happened last week. I know
Straight up
y'all saw
happened.
it. So-
I know some of you are so over this Will Smith and Chris Rock, and we're kind of over it too. However, it's relevant to today's topic, so we just got to talk about it a little bit more. So
Just a little bit.
Don't leave us. Just stay with us because we have to give you our sister perspective on what happened, and then we're going to tie it all into how your girl ended up in jail. So stick with us, all right?
All right.
So what did you think about it, Melissa? We don't even need to play the clip. It might be traumatizing for some people.
Yeah.
What did you think about what happened?
So when I was not watching the Oscars at all.
Okay.
I just happened to be sitting on the couch with my family. And Steve was watching social media and he showed it to me, and we just sat there with our mouths open because we didn't know if it was real or what just happened.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you right away, y'all know I'm sensitive. We done talked about it. I was traumatized. It was traumatic for me to see something like that happen on TV.
So what about it was traumatic for you?
It was traumatic for me because Chris Rock, he made a joke. I don't think it was on purpose. It didn't seem like it was on purpose, but he was left on the stage. He was abandoned.
Okay. So you're saying after he got slapped?
After he got slapped, he was abandoned.
Yeah.
They left that man on that stage. No one came to his aid. No one came to his rescue. They left the cameras rolling. They didn't give him a script. They didn't cut it off.
No.
They left him to stand there by himself and defend himself the best way that he could.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people talk about different angles of what happened.
So many different angles.
About this story. But for me, that was the first thing that came.
That stuck out.
One, he got hit. And no one was there to defend him. He might not have been able to defend himself.
Yeah.
He might have been afraid. You don't know what is going on with the person. And I heard that he had, you were telling me that.
Yeah, he's, if you do some research, especially there's an interview with him and Howard Stern, and he talks about being bullied throughout his childhood, even into his adult career.
See?
Being bullied and not knowing how to handle it, and talked about just the trauma that he's experienced. He talked about being in therapy on a regular basis for that very type of situation.
Yeah.
So I felt bad.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that part. But that was the first thing that resonated for me.
Wow.
Was Chris Rock being left to deal with that situation that happened in front of national TV, his family, his friends, the Oscars. I mean, going on forever.
Yeah,
so,
it was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
What were your thoughts about Will's role, Jada's role, the audience?
Y'all know I'm not. Listen, y'all gonna be cutting me off of Facebook because, I think as women, we are helpmeets to our spouses. Supposed to be helpmeets to our spouses. And one of the things that my husband will say is, don't let me take an L. Don't leave me hanging.
Don't do me like that.
Cover me or whatever. Don't do me like that.
Yeah.
And if he was defending her for his sake, she allowed him to humiliate himself. on behalf of her.
I can see that.
Yeah, on behalf of her and maybe what she was feeling. And then, you know, for him, he's like, I got to take up for my wife. So there's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But I would not have let my man get up on national TV.
Yeah.
We would have handled it afterwards.
Yeah.
We would have worked it out.
Do you think she knew that he was going to slap him? Because it seemed like, if this was real, it seemed like Chris didn't know. Obviously, he braced himself and he leaned in almost as if Will was going to whisper something to him.
And he didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah. So do you feel like she didn't know either, or you think she knew? Okay, she thinks she knew. Okay, never mind. Jada?
Some people.
Yeah.
We are not. Here's what I'll say, because I don't want to talk about anybody, but we are not fighting against flesh and blood.
We wrestle not.
We wrestle not. It is spirits in high
Angels,
places of wickedness
I
and
hear you.
principalities, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
And when you have situations like that, when there is violence, when there is humiliation, when there is hurt, when there is laughter on someone else's account, that is not the Holy Spirit. So that's what I will say about that.
Well, period.
Yeah. What did you?
For me, I think I was in shock, like everybody else was in shock. I kept saying, "There's no way this could be real." I didn't feel like I understood it to be real until he said what he said once he sat down, like literally the second time. So he said, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth," the first time, and it was angry. But that second time, he had like an extra special nose flare, and his eye was like, it was like, I am not playing with you. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I felt embarrassed for us as a people. I didn't think about your point of view about Chris. But what I can say is that I was so proud of Chris. I felt like he handled that situation with style and grace. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, he said what he said. Wow, Will slapped the mess out of me, and he just continued on doing his job. Although he had just been hit, although he was probably like, what in the world is going on? Oh, and this is the thing. After he said it the second time, Will said, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." He said he was de-escalating it. He said, okay, it was just a joke.
He said, I will.
Literally, like he was like,
I'm sorry.
Calm down, bro. And then the fact that as of now, he didn't press charges on that man. I mean, like when I tell you, they said, Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Chris went so high.
He went very high.
And I was just proud of him as a black man. I felt like him and Will represented like, I think Will represented who the world feels like black people are, minorities are, right? Don't have no self-control, rah-rah, that kind of thing. And Chris showed a different side and said, no, this is how you handle a situation. This is how you handle adversity, and you control yourself. And so when I tell you Chris is my hero, he's my hero, I think it's a great segue into our topic today. Which is how I ended up in jail. He could have gotten himself, and we still don't know what's going to happen, but maybe he won't be able to go to the Oscars again. Maybe Chris will. He could have been in jail. It just could have been a bad situation.
Other repercussions that we don't know about.
All kinds of things.
It's just awful.
Yeah, all because he lost his control. And I have been in the same situation that Will was in, and it landed my butt in jail. And a whole bunch of bad things happened or could have happened to me. So I want to be like Chris. So the message as we talk about my story is be like Chris. Be like Chris Rock.
Yeah, Chris rocks. Control yourself. Control yourself. Big topic, because I know we talked about kind of a little bit in our growing up childhood. Crystal talked about kind of how she was angry and how she was always ready to fight or whatever. And later in life, I became ready too. So self-control is a big thing for us. It is really, really big.
It is huge.
I know I was in jail, but she went to jail. What happened? Because I know they want to know.
I know y'all want to know.
What happened? How you go to jail?
So, this is what happened. I'll try to give you the short version of a long story. And I'm going to say this. If you guys watched some previous episodes, the last episode actually, I said that when I have been through traumatic experiences, I use sleeping to forget. And so sometimes it's difficult for me to remember every single thing that happened in the way that it happened, because I try to bury it so that I can move on, so that I can cope and that kind of thing. So I'm going to tell this story to the best of my ability to remember it. But the year was 2006. So this is a long time ago.
That's a good memory. Well.
This is a long time ago, you guys, but I was taking care of a family member that was at my home. This person had just had a major surgery and just needed some help, you know, to kind of help them recover. So I said, hey, why don't you come over here, stay with me? I had also just had my own baby, so my baby was like maybe 2 or 3 months old. So me, and then I had an 8-year-old. So everything went well at the house, and when it was time for my family member to finally go home, they had some laundry, and I said, hey, leave your laundry here. I'll take care of it for you. Once I'm done, I will bring it to you, and you know, all will be well. So that was the plan. So the family member kind of recovered and went to their house, and I did my part. I did the laundry, reached out to the family member on the phone to say, hey, maybe it was a text, and said, hey, I'm gonna bring your laundry to you. I finished it. I'll be over your house within the hour. And they responded, they said, okay, cool. And that was it, right? So when I got to the family member's house, they had lived in an apartment complex. And so, you know, usually with apartments, you have to like buzz to get through gates and different doors to have access to the house, right? And so I called this person, I said, hey, well, I was trying to tell them, hey, I'm downstairs. So the agreement was for them to meet me downstairs. I would give them the laundry and go on my way, right? So long story short, I arrived at this person's house and kept calling, maybe at least 10 to 15 times.
Now, how long had it been since that person left your house, like from staying with you? Like, were they just out of surgery, or?
So that, remember I was saying that they had recovered. So
okay, so
yeah,
some
so
recovery
maybe
there. Okay.
3 or 4 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days after, you know, the surgery, and then maybe they went home and I took the laundry the next day. So I could not get in contact with this family member. So I'm feeling a little frustrated because I'm like, okay, we just texted and we just said, oh, you just gave me the green light to come, and I'm here now. I'm not going all the way back home. So answer the door. So anyways, that person did not answer the door, and that's where I started to make some really bad decisions. The first negative and bad, poor decision that I made is that I had my infant in the car and I had my older child. I pulled over, I locked the door, I got the laundry. Y'all stay put in the car. I'm about to head inside and just try to get in and drop this laundry off. So I did that, finally got in. Once I finally got to the family member's door, I knocked on the door and I said, hey, I was frustrated. I said, hey, I've been calling you. We, you know, had an agreement for me to give you this laundry. How come you didn't answer the phone? What have you been doing?
Wait, were you saying it like that? Or were you just like, what was your attitude? Like, do you think, what do you think it was?
My attitude was frustrated. It was not cursing. It was not yelling.
But
it
you
was
don't
just like,
do that.
oh my God, I keep calling you. Why are you not answering the phone? It was like that.
Is that frustration?
Maybe a little yelling.
A little stuff in there.
Maybe a little, but no cursing, no. I didn't think it was too crazy. I think it was just like really like frustration. And prior to me getting frustrated, my first response was I got nervous. I was like, I hope this person is okay. Because I just talked to you and now you're not answering the phone. So are you okay?
Yeah.
So I think the frustration came out when they opened the door and they seemed okay. Because I'm just like,
so when they opened the door, what was their reaction? Did they apologize, or was it
no apology at all? It was just like maybe you know, I don't want to speak for the other person, but maybe they were a little taken aback or offended by my frustration. I'm not sure, but you know, the response that I got back was not like, oh man, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear the phone ring, or you know, not really giving an explanation for why, you know, they didn't
just apology,
answer.
like,
just
I'm so sorry.
anything, like, what's up? You know, in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to do something to help you out. So, like, what's going on? But I just felt like I was met with a really nasty, negative attitude and negative words, but I can't remember what those words were. That person was not yelling at me or cursing, just being real nasty.
Yeah.
And then they ended up, I gave them the laundry and they slammed the door in my face. No thank you, no nothing, just slammed the door. So for me, that was a trigger. It really was. And what I should have done was took the loss, walked away, but I didn't.
But you know, if you watch the episode where Crystal talks kind of a little bit about her life or whatever, you said you had to always be ready. So you probably was just, it just was like, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready now. I'm ready.
It's seeming like it's gonna get crazy,
Seemingly,
so I'm ready.
Seems like you're ready.
Seriously. So, knocked back on the door like a silly girl because, mind you, I told you I got my kids in the car, y'all. But at that point of me feeling disrespected, all of it went out of the window and I totally lost control. So I knocked again, and the person, the relative, said something else that was like super nasty. Because I said, did you just slam the door on me? And at that point, the relative is like, heck yeah, I did. What you gonna do about it? And I said to the relative, if you do that again, I am going to slap you in the face. And they took no time. They said, pop, and they didn't hit me. That's the door slam.
That's the door slam. Oh,
They slammed the door. They slammed the door like, I want all the smoke. They wanted all the smoke.
This is not good.
It's
so
not good.
What did you do? What happened?
So the funny thing is that I knock again and the door gets opened again. So we're both making really bad choices at this moment. You know what I'm saying? Because like
they could have walked away.
They could have walked away and just let me knock.
The devil is busy.
The devil was like, my. What do we have here?
Like, come, y'all. Come see, come. Oh, it's about to go down.
Oh my gosh. And that's exactly what happened. So, again, that's where bad decision number 4 came in.
Yeah.
And when the person opened up the door, I used my hand to shove them in the face. And from there, it became a tussle. I wouldn't say it was a fight where, you know, we're like squared up and that kind of thing, but we just began to tussle. Mind you, this person had just had 6 days out of surgery. I would say 4 to 6 days out of surgery.
Yeah.
So it's like, Crystal, where's your mind that you would put your hands on a relative that you love, knowing their condition?
Yeah.
But that self-control and me blacking out caused me not to think of that at that moment. It was just that fight or flight in the heat of the moment. And I know that person was responding in that way as well. So we began to tussle, but because it wasn't like a real super fight, you know, there was a moment where the relative went back inside, could have closed the door, but chose to go inside and get a wine bottle or a glass, like a big tall, is that what it would be called? A wine bottle?
A wine bottle.
Yeah.
A bottle of wine, wine bottle.
Yes, to come out and to hit me with it. For me, it was just like, man, that it just started feeling like it was just getting to a level of no return. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have not had many fights with family members because I love all my family members. I love the relative, but it just seemed like, wow, like this is you playing dirty. It's almost, you know, like you got weapons involved now.
But the funny thing is, like, if you're with a family member like that, you would have to think like, what's going on in their mind? Because in my mind, I'm like, this is crazy, but I got to defend myself, and I started it. It's going low. It's getting worse. It was
just a downward spiral, you know, and it was not something that at the moment you could just walk away from. Yeah. So, you know, their attempt was made to hit me with the bottle. That, thank God, you know, because that could have been worse. You know, that was to no avail. All I can remember next is there was a point where the family member tried to spit on me. And again, I felt like that was really, really low. I was like, it's not that kind of fight. It's like, this is just like a light fight. This is a tussle. Why you trying to kill me?
A bottle
you spit in, like, this is not that kind of fight. We're just tussling. So
that's how people go to jail.
That part. So it was crazy tussling. And after the spit, it didn't connect, praise the Lord. But in my mind, I went to go and I got serious, and I became very angry, and I went to go and almost kick this person. And when I tell y'all, God is so good, the Holy Spirit will come to you right in the middle of your
and you gotta listen.
And your mess. And he said to me so loud and clear, this is your relative. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like I saw everything happening from then on in slow motion. And I was like, I don't want to do this. This is crazy.
I don't want to hurt this person.
I don't want to hurt this person.
Yeah.
And so I did not kick the person or anything like that. But unfortunately, we were in the elevator. And so elevators move.
So wait.
Don't ask me how we got to the elevator.
Did y'all get... I want to know who pushed the button. Who opened the elevator for y'all to get on?
Listen, the devil.
The devil. It's like me. It's like
This way.
Like to the lobby. To the lobby.
Straight to the lobby. He wanted us over.
I need y'all to take this downstairs.
Listen, so yeah. So we ended up in the elevator, you guys, and the elevator is going down floors and we're tussling. Just a lot of hair pulling and grabbing, you know, silly stuff like that. And at one point, again, like I said, everything's happening in slow motion. So the elevator opens. There's a guy on the other end. He's like, what is going on in this elevator? He reaches his hand in and he pushes close the door. He's like, I don't want to have nothing to do with this.
And then y'all go, but he sent y'all down.
He sent us down because people were probably trying to come up. So we get to the very, you know, to the lobby. Some choice words are exchanged, and then I leave. All the while, y'all, my kids was in the car. It was so stupid, you guys, of me. It was really, really so stupid, but I forgot. So I went over to my mom's house, and on my way to by the time I got to my mom's house, by that time, I was informed. No. The relative called me, and the relative had another friend. They called me, and they were just talking about all these, you know, extra terrible things that they were going to do to me. So there's another person that's involved for no reason.
Wait a minute. The family member called their friend.
Yeah.
And their friend was cussing you out. Was about to.
The friend
that's about to come jump you.
Sorry, it's not funny. Because violence is not okay. It's not
okay.
Sometimes I laugh because I can't believe.
We do.
I can't believe it. It's like so unbelievable that it's funny. Like, what is going on?
So you was about to get jumped. So what did you say? Did you respond back to them?
I think
were you fussing?
I think I was fussing a little bit, but I think by that time reality had really set in. That I have a whole baby. You know, even though this person just had surgery, which is awful, I shouldn't have been fighting a person that had surgery.
True.
I had just had surgery as well. Like I said, I mean, you know, it was a C-section. I'm not saying that I wasn't healed or anything like that, but I'm just saying it was still, you know, just a delicate area for me. So it should not have happened. But I was also informed that the police had been called. And so for me, that was like the worst part of it all. I felt like you call the police when you're in danger, usually, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think I can't speak for how a person handles a situation. I just think if it were me and I were in a situation with a family member, that I would have handled it differently, and I would not have gotten the cops involved unless I felt my life was threatened
or in danger.
Right. But I wouldn't. You know, there's no way I would get into it with you and then you leave and then I call the police. Help me. You know, it's like, you don't need no help. Ain't nobody there.
Ain't nobody there,
yeah. But, you know, that was what the relative chose to do. And so that's basically the story, right? But y'all, there were so many, you know, bad things that came out of it.
Yeah.
All because of one moment of not being able to control myself and not being able to control my anger. Mm-hmm. So one of the things, was that I had to go to jail.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, when the police or when they called the police, did the police come and get you? Did you get arrested? Were you at the relative's house?
Right.
Or
no.
what happened?
So thankfully I didn't get arrested. So I've never been arrested. I don't know what that's like. She has, but I have not.
It ain't fun.
Right. So I didn't
hurt.
Exactly, I've heard. No, I did have on handcuffs. So I'll tell you.
Handcuffs?
Yeah, so I didn't get arrested because again, I wasn't when the police were called. I wasn't even at the family member's house, so there was no situation, and I don't think the family member knew when I left. They didn't know where I went, so they just called the police, and I ended up finding out that the police was called. So I'm like, okay, now I need to call the police and see what this means. I've never been in a situation like that, you know. So I called the police or whatever in the area, and I was like, hello. And I was like giving these hypothetical situations. I was like, okay, so what if you was in a situation and somebody called the police on you or whatever? And what, you know?
What should I do?
Right. And the lady literally was like, ma'am, you need to come turn yourself in. I just hung up.
I'm gonna be here till 11.
I just hung up.
10:15 to get here.
Cause I was like, they probably tracing this call. Let me hang up. Let me hang up.
So did you go that night, or when did you
No.
go?
So then, so that was. I feel like first I called 911 to find out what was gonna happen.
Who told you to do that?
I don't know, cause I had never been in a situation.
In action. In action.
Y'all know we had to take a little food break.
Get a little morsel, a little bite to eat.
So yeah, so what I was talking about. So called 911. So I ended up calling the jail where the family member lived, and they told me what to do. They were so sweet, and I just feel like God was covering me in my foolishness.
He covers, man.
In all of it, right?
Yeah.
So what they told me, because I was like, listen, I have a newborn child that I am nursing. I hadn't pumped any milk, and so my first thing I was like panicking about was that who's going to take care of my
baby,
child,
yeah.
and how is he going to eat? So they were like, okay, well, first of all, try to pump you some milk before you come. They were like, don't turn yourself in on the weekend. So basically they told me I had to turn myself in. Like the police weren't gonna come out to find me, but they said like if I had gotten pulled over for a ticket or just anything, and they saw that I had a warrant. So a warrant was issued for my arrest.
Gotcha.
When the family member called.
So you had to turn yourself in.
Right. So that's what they said. They were like, if you have a warrant, you have to turn yourself in, or whenever we catch you, we'll take you. And they were just like, don't get caught, because you just never know where you'll be or what the circumstances are, and it could be worse. So they gave me all these tips, like don't come on the weekend because you won't be able to get in front of a judge. They said what they would advise me to do is on a Monday morning, come at 5 a.m., show up. They would have to put me in a jail cell, a holding cell, and then they would get me on the court docket for that day. I would go before the judge, and that would be it. And so that's what I did, y'all. So at 5 a.m. I walked myself up there, and I said, hey, this is who I am. I'm here to turn myself in. I have a warrant. They were really nice to me, but they did have to put me in handcuffs. They took, my phone and my shoes, and
they take everything. They strip you of all of your pride.
And they put me in a holding cell. It's funny because for my job, you guys, for about a year and a half in survey research, I had to go into various jails and prisons throughout Ohio. So I was familiar with the jail that I was in.
Oh, this is a good jail.
I was like, oh, that's a good one.
Oh, this is fine.
So I should be good.
Cell number one.
Right, literally.
Okay, I want this one.
I said, I picked this cell. I knew where the snack machine was. I knew the judge, I knew the prosecutor, because I had been working with them.
I knew. Did they see your?
Can you imagine how embarrassing that is to, be a professional and, interact with some of these people, and then to be having to turn yourself in? So it was completely embarrassing, and it was my fault. And you're gonna hear me keep saying I take full responsibility for not being able to control myself. Do I think that my family members should have called the police on me? No, I thought it was low, but they wouldn't have had to call the police if I hadn't hit them.
Yeah, or if you had a thought. And
thought it through
and practice self-control.
So
that's it.
That's the term for today, you guys, is self-control. Don't end up like me. So anyway, so I went to jail. It was funny. I was in a holding cell, and I was not alone. So there were probably about 6 other people in the holding cell, and they were guys. So I was like, this is weird. And I was like, dang, Ma, what you in here for?
Dang, Shawty, what it do?
You know that I'm trying to talk to me. I'm like, I am trying to be in jail right now.
I'm innocent.
Don't try to talk to me,
oh
okay?
My gosh, I am not what y'all is on.
Like, who tries to be on the girl that's in the same jail cell as them? I was just like, guys,
they don't get out.
Call
Give
me.
me them digits.
I ain't got no phone, and neither do you. We in jail, fool.
Oh.
Long story short, the long-term implications of the mistake that I made was that I was going to have, or I could have, a felony because it was a relative. It was considered domestic violence, and when I think of domestic, I think about, I don't know, husband to wife for whatever reason, and those were the long-term implications. You guys, I was in school getting my degree for early childhood education. So, I mean, connect the dots there. You're talking about if I had gotten a felony, then my whole degree is out the window. You can't work with children and have a felony. So now I done wasted college dollars on a degree, and it was just awful in so many ways. And so thankfully, I think through prayer and, you know, some other relatives kind of talking to this particular relative saying, hey, please do not press charges. So that's what needed to happen in order for me to have the felony, is that if the relative decided to press charges against me, then I would have had to plead guilty and had a felony. So thankfully they did not.
Thank God. Thank God for God.
Thank God for God. How about that? Yeah, thank God for God. So the moral of the story is, you know, when we do not control ourselves, all kinds of things could have can happen, could have happened. You know, like the fight could have been worse. Somebody could have ended up in the hospital. The family member that I was in a tussle with could have been injured because they had just had surgery. The police could have come and seen my children in the car, perhaps, and said, where is your
For a
mama?
long time.
Where your mama at? And then that would have been a whole nother charge. Like, I made so many mistakes that I regret. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, it took me some years to be able to see my part, my role in it, and what I did was wrong.
As opposed to looking at that other person and what they did. You did this.
So this podcast is not about them. It's about me. It's about the terrible decisions that I made. You know, so.
I mean, in life we make so many decisions that it not only affects us. But everybody that's around you is affected by your poor decisions or lack of self-control. It is embarrassment. It is having to publicly apologize, privately apologize. You know, working on change behavior. It affects your kids, your spouse. It affects everybody. Your job. Because you were working full time. You could have lost your job.
Literally.
Not ever been able to get a new job because you have a felony. And you have a brand new baby. They could have, your child could have been taken. All the kids.
All of it
could have been taken. So you have to think about that. But in not practicing self-control, you know, you learned that lesson. But how did you ever, what happened once the situation was done?
Once the smoke cleared.
How did you? Because that is a big piece too in self-control. Because you could still come back.
You be mad again.
Round
two. No, seriously. It took a lot of time. I want to say maybe even some years. I don't remember.
Even know where I was.
I think you were away. I think you lived in another state.
I was here. Oh no, I wasn't here.
I don't think you were here.
I didn't live in
because Mike was born.
Wow.
No name dropping.
I heard about it though.
I know you heard about it.
I heard about it. I was like, I can't even help them.
You weren't even here. So it took a long time. And if I'm being honest, and this is another podcast that we will do, the reconciliation that took place, it was very surface. It's even taken years for me to find out that it may not have been as genuine and Christ-centered as it should have been, perhaps from both sides. It was just all bad. It was all bad. And what I was going to say about my family in general is that I feel like oftentimes when we have issues with each other, because there is a lot of love and a lot of laughter, we try to take those not so good situations and we just sweep them under the rug.
Like I love you anyway.
So we just go.
Your family.
We just gonna let it slide until, you know, there's a build up or a blow up, and then, you know, somebody's like, this is what I think about you. You be like, what? Well, dang.
And that goes to making sure that you deal with situations as they happen.
It's important.
Apologizing, true reconciliation, and really working on that relationship, because that blow up from that build up, it will take you out.
It will, and it's so dangerous for both parties, because especially for the person that's like, I didn't even know. Oh, you big mad. Okay, you got all this stuff that you've never said anything about.
Yeah.
You know, you can be completely shocked. And then, you know, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries up your bones.
Oh,
it makes you mean and funky.
Yeah.
And so, you know, some people are walking around holding things, and because they haven't said anything about it, it's damaging to them. You know, the person has moved on, and
they live their life, and you are. It will make your body ill.
Literally.
To hold on unforgiveness, or even just expressing I was hurt, and giving that person the ability to apologize, or to make it right, or talk it out, even if they can't. Just, you know, given that opportunity. So I mean, self-control is. I have plenty of. I have
lack of self-control stories?
I do.
What I'm doing now to manage, if adverse situations come up, I'm praying. Like, I'm telling you, like, literally, like, God, Jesus fix it. Jesus take the wheel.
Yes.
You know, in a split second. Now, I have a different outlook. I'm thinking of my children. I'm thinking about my family first. And I'm not saying, you know, from that time to this time, I haven't, you know, done anything too crazy, but I ain't been back to jail. So I haven't stayed out of jail.
Real good, Ossifer.
I did nothing. But seriously, it's like I'm not trying to embarrass my kids. I'm not trying to get my kids taken away. I ain't trying to lose no jobs. I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm able to think about it, and I hate that, you know, that situation had to come up for me to think differently. But you go to jail one time, it'll get you. You'll be like, okay,
it get you together. Sometimes we think we so tough. You be like, you do this to me. I'm gonna do. No, I'm not.
I'm not
I'm not gonna do that to you, because I really care about myself and my life.
I want to be like Chris Rock. I'm just gonna try to de-escalate. And let me just tell you this, because there are some people that were Team Will, right? Circling back to that situation, and they were saying, he was fed up, you know, so he had to do what he had to do. Violence is unacceptable. Because somebody is saying something you don't like, you cannot hit them.
You can't hit them.
Like, why y'all think y'all can hit somebody?
It's not okay.
That way. It's not.
But that's in our culture. That's what we were taught. Somebody say something about your mama,
it's on.
It's on. You fight them. You hit them. You knock them out. You make sure they don't say it again. That is not the way to go. That is not the way God wants us to be.
It's unacceptable.
Yes.
It is not of God, and I just want to be where the Lord want me to be.
Yes.
Child.
So what would you say to people who lack self-control, and what advice would you give, and what does God say about self-control?
So I would say to people that lack self-control, I mean, I just think you really have to know yourself, because those moments, they happen in seconds, like literally. I mean, you just go flip mode, and then, you know, everything can be destroyed. So I think knowing yourself, and when you know yourself, you know, okay, I'm feeling like, y'all, my face gets warm when I get really hot.
Really?
Like, that's my indicator.
That's like turning red.
I feel something on the side of my face.
Oh, blank and dark. I am ready to kill you.
I get that face warm warning first. So, like, if you have those little indicators, you know, in your body, and you know, you got to walk away. Sometimes you have to run away. When that girl slammed that door, that person slammed that door in my face, I should have just walked away. I would have been feeling rejected and humiliated and all that, but I should have just walked away.
It would have saved so much trouble and so much anguish.
Absolutely. So that's what I would say. I would say call on God and say, Lord, I'm feeling angry. Please get me out of this situation. The Bible says with every temptation, God has made a way of escape.
Yes.
I love that verse, because I'm like, man, I ain't got no excuse for this crazy stuff that I did. When I'm tempted to be angry, when I'm tempted to do whatever, God, right before you do it, he's like, here's the escape route. Take it. So listen and be in tune with the Holy Spirit and take that escape route, whatever it is. Whether it's him saying, close your mouth. Whether it's him saying, walk away. Whatever it is, God got you. He'll give you an escape route. You just have to take it because he gives everybody a choice.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then some Bible verses. I would say, let me see. This, grab my phone here. Proverbs 14:29 says, whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Basically, you stupid. You stupid.
And you're elevating stupidity when you're angry like that.
Yeah.
It says, know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And I know I don't hear nothing. You know, I told you when you start fussing at me, I was like, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm angry right now.
Yeah.
But God is like, look, you got to be slow to anger, or you're going to do something stupid. You're going to be foolish. Things are going to happen. It's going to be a trickle down effect or a ripple effect on your life. So, I mean, practicing self-control. I commend Chris Rock. I am a fan.
Me too. Me too.
You know, I empathize with him. Nothing's happened to me like that, but I felt him. Because I'm a human and I'm a person. I felt Will, I felt Jada, but violence and, you know, reacting in a way that is just hurtful to others, at no times is that a good thing to do.
It's not. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, like, I think the situation between Chris and Will was a good opportunity for us to check like our character, right? So if you found yourself saying I'm Team Will, you might need to work on that. Okay, you might have some childhood trauma in there. Because essentially what you're saying is, I understand you, and I understand that you had to do what you had to do. I understand that you slapped him because he was talking about your wife. You got to protect your family, and it's like you do have to protect your family as a man. You should, but there's a way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you'll be all right.
So basically, we just trying to say, don't go to jail.
That's all we came here to say. Because I know y'all be going to jail. I'm looking at some of y'all right now, and
I know quite a few people.
You've been to jail. That's what you're giving me.
The vibes.
That's the vibe.
And that's okay. The vibes that are coming through is that we know you relate, but you know we're here. We're definitely here to help each other. You help us and us to help you to be better people.
Absolutely.
So we hope that from the events that transpired, that you could elevate and grow and not think in the wrong way. And for us, practicing self-control, Crystal's story was great. Just give it to God and, you know, handle your self-control.
Yes, and God promises to fight our battles.
Yes.
God says, vengeance is mine, I will repay. God can fight your battles way better than we
could.
You be like, get them, Lord. He will get them.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, you know. So let him fight your battles. Don't go to jail. Have you some self-control.
Stay in school.
And what else?
Eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. Drink your water. Subscribe,
and share.
Comment if you went to jail.
Tell us your jail story.
Tell us how you practice self-control, what you do, whatever you do. Tell us what you do because we need some more tips.
And if you want to share your comments on Will and Jada and Chris Rock, throw those in there too.
Throw them in there.
We're here for that.
We're not gonna read them, but put them in there anyway.
Put them in there, please. Thank you very much.
Yes. What are we doing next week? What are we gonna talk about next week?
I think we're going shopping next week.
We're going shopping next week. We're gonna take y'all with us. We're gonna show you what we got. It's gonna be really, really fun. And man, we're almost getting to the end of our season.
So I think we have how many?
We got 2 or 3 more episodes.
Okay.
And then season 2, baby. All the guests is coming for season 2.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So we appreciate y'all being here with us. And
thank you. Bye.
Peace.
See you later.